Hello, all you aspiring writers out there. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and I'm here with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer. We go live every Friday to help you learn what you need to know to write, publish, and promote a great book. And we have the perfect topic for today, the day after New Year's, but this applies any day you're watching or listening. So, Joanie, how are you today?
I am fabulous. I am fabulous. I have my new top on that I got in San Diego. And so
Oh,
I am decked out, bursting with joy. And I love our topic today. So I'm good. You the day after the new year.
awesome. I'm excited. I'm deep in it. I'm writing books. I just finished one and I'm cranking them out. So I'm super focused and loving it and always excited to share how other people can make it happen. So our hot topic for today is make a plan to write your book this year. And again, whether you're watching this in July or January or December, whenever, it's now's the time to start. If you feel called, take action. So we're going to give you some practical tips today on how to get started and sustain the momentum of writing your book until you're done. Joni, what are your thoughts?
Exactly. Exactly. And I think you just said it. Momentum and don't quit. Keep on writing. Keep on writing.
Yes, yes. So, um, we are publishing a book in February to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. It's called Write Your Book in a Day, and it provides the two sisters blueprint for turning your book dreams into published reality. And of course, I mentioned you multiple times in the book, Joni, because you did it. You did all the things that we taught. And so some of that is having a plan to sit down and write, finding the time, making the time, investing time, energy, money, vision, and really believing in it. So, the most important thing that we mention in the book is that you do need a blueprint. You need some kind of plan, strategy. And so today, while people are super in the mood of looking at the year coming and deciding, okay, this is the year I'm going to make it happen, but how? You need a plan. So, Joni, what would you recommend as the first step to creating a plan to write a book? Because you've done it 3 times.
I have. And I have three props today because I'm
Uh-oh.
very visual. And I think that's a big part of how I made it happen, that I was visual. So around my office, I would have posters put up and just handwritten things. I can do this. I'm on my way. This is going to be great. And I mean, my office was literally just posted with these things. So that's my first tip. Have post-its because you never know when an idea, a hot thing will hit your brain or hit your heart. And I had these in all the rooms. I had them in the car. I had them everywhere with a pen handy because it was a lot easier for me to put it on a note thingy and then I'd be able to stick it on the wall or figure out where it goes in the outline, which is another tip. But to me, having post-its really, 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 really helped. Do you use something like that, Elizabeth?
I have post-its all over. In fact, I had pink ones on my screen and I took them off just before now because they looked messy. So I just move them down where you can't see them. But I have pink, orange, yellow, blue,
Yep.
green. I love those things. And I have,
Yep. It's the rainbow colors is the way I
of
look at it.
course,
The rainbow colors. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
hmm
Yep. Yep. So once you write something on it, what do you do with it, Elizabeth?
Oh, I have to have things in my face. So I literally just put them next to my desk or on my screen or below my display so I can see them
Hmm.
and they're so I don't forget. And then
Hmm.
I like the feeling of once I achieve the task that's on the sticky note, I throw it away. So I like
Yes.
that. Some of them are keepers, but I like the process. Like you write it down, you get the idea, and then you execute the idea, and then you throw the thing away. You're done.
Right, right. And I think that's so important because here's what I would do. I would take a sticky, have my thing on it, and then when I accomplished it, I would bundle it up and I would throw it and I go, 3 points.
Oh, that's
And
fun.
so that's my sports thing, but it wasn't just going into the garbage can, it was going into the hoop of the business of the book. That's what it was going for. It was a shot right into the book, and that was just really, really cool. It's good to hear about you. That's good to hear about you.
I like your sports analogy and going into the hoop of the business because that's a really important topic that we have discussed in other podcasts
Yes,
episodes. So,
yes.
Joni, I love your idea of using post-it notes to help plan and stay organized. So, what's your next tip?
Okay, my next prop is a scale. Is a scale because I always thought that you need to have a goal. You need to have a goal. Are you shooting whatever your goal is? I don't want to give you any ideas, but have a goal. And a lot of people think of a scale like a weight loss goal, or maybe they need to gain weight, whatever there is. But to have a goal and you write that down on one of your things and keep track of that. And so as you're writing, I don't know if I hope you have a coach, but whether it's weekly or monthly or daily, whatever you decide, check in on your goal. How are you doing? If you're trying to lose weight, how often do you check? But this is a very visual thing. So every time I looked at my scale, which is in my bedroom, I don't weigh myself every day. It's about probably once a week. But I would, every time I would see a scale, I would think, oh, yes, my goal of the book, my goal of the book. So that's the goal part. And I always had a reset button here. If I didn't hit that goal that week, if I didn't take the time to write as much as I wanted, I would reset that goal. There's a button right here called a reset button. And I would physically touch my forehead with my thumb and make a reset button on that goal. And I think you've shared in another podcast before, Elizabeth, that you actually calculate out how many hours it will take to write your book, correct?
Yes.
Why don't you talk about that? Because I think that's really awesome.
Oh, sure. So I actually put that in the book. There's a formula you can use, and there's two types of writing. One is continuous writing, where you're writing from your imagination or memory, and the other one is what I call research writing, where you have to stop, look at statistics, review an article, reference some notes. So I call that research writing because it's slower. So
Mhm.
then you time yourself with the continuous writing for 10 minutes. And then you look at how many words you actually wrote in those 10 minutes and multiply it by six. And that's how many words you write in an hour for continuous writing. Do the same with the research style writing, where you write, but you're referencing your notes, statistics, etc.
Yes.
And time yourself for 10 minutes and then multiply that by six. So that's an hour of research writing. And if your book is, say, half and half continuous writing straight from memory and imagination, and the other half is research writing, and you want to write a book that's, say, 100,000 words, you do the math and you figure out how many hours is it going to take me to write this book if I write X amount in per hour, and you do the math. The book actually has a little worksheet that you can complete because for
Cool.
non-math people that might sound overwhelming, but it really, really works. And then you figure out, okay, I can, with my full-time job, my family, my workout schedule, my faith community commitments, I have 6 hours a week that I can write. And so then you do some more math. If it's going to take you X hours to write your book and you have 6 hours a week, do the math there. How many weeks is it going to take you to write your book? And then add at least a month because life happens. People get the flu, you take a trip, you're just exhausted, some cool thing happens, and you are not on schedule. So, this is a way that you can get some actual goals and calculations to figure out how long it will actually take you to write your book.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. It's not my style, but I totally get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's wonderful.
some people really like analytics. They don't like
Yes,
this nebulous thing like, oh, I'm writing a book. Whenever I finish, I'll finish. Some people are like that. But for those who
exactly.
really want to have a grasp and having a plan is
Yes.
really connected to that, Joni. So it's not
Yes.
just a plan that, oh, I'll finish someday. It's like, no, I can finish by October 3rd, 2026 if I do this planning.
Right, right. And I get that. The concept I totally get. And how I do it, Elizabeth, I have a calendar. I have a calendar and I have my start date and I have my when it's going to be done date. It's sort of like sports. It's like, when is the championship? If that's the goal, when is the championship? When is, whatever your goal is, when is that date? And then that's how I develop my plan. But it's the same concept. But I love that because I have many friends that are analytical. And in my world, sometimes I even call that OCD. But that's okay. That's good, because we're all different. And that's the cool thing. All writers are different, all authors are different, and you find out what works for you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So, wow, you held up a scale, you held up a calendar, you held up, what else did you hold up?
Notepads?
Notepads, right, right, right. So,
Yep.
things that can assist you on your writing journey. But very importantly, you need a plan that starts in your head and on your calendar. And so that again is looking at your hours of availability. But your plan might also be to look at what you can cut out temporarily because
Oh,
everybody's like, "Oh, I'm so busy. I don't have time to write a book." Well, you do. You just have to decide what can I push aside for now, and it's
good
only
point.
temporary. And don't think of it as a sacrifice, think of it as an investment in your effort.
Mhm.
Otherwise, without a plan for most people, the book will not get done. You will just keep grinding away with your daily life, all your obligations, even if that's procrastinating, it will just not happen. So, a plan starts in the mind saying, like Joni said, I can do this. I can do this. I want to do this. I feel called to do this. And that understanding it's bigger than you. It's like a moral obligation. When you feel called to write a book, it's the universe, God, spirit telling you you have this bigger mission. It's so much bigger than whatever you're doing on a daily basis. It can touch people's lives all around the world. Our authors here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and including you, Joni, when we look at our analytics from Ingram Spark, we have readers in Madagascar and Morocco and Brazil and Asia, and it's mind-blowing to think about the reach of something you sat there and wrote at your desk or in your living room or wherever, Starbucks, writing your book, and then now someone on the other side of the world is reading it. That
Yes.
is a huge life
Yes.
assignment. Yeah, right?
Totally, totally. I still pinch myself when I hear of those analytics, as well as if you get an email or you get some kind of correspondence that says, "Hey, I read your book. I'm in England," or I sent the book to a friend of mine who's in New Zealand or Chile, or my gosh,
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah. And didn't you get an
Yeah.
email from some ladies in Denmark?
Yes. Yes.
That's just
Yes.
wild. Like,
Totally wild. Totally
yeah.
wild.
And
Yep.
they're reading your book, and everybody out there, reading is such an intimate experience. Like, you are in someone's head.
Yes.
Literally, when you wrote it and they're reading it and it's your life story, it is touching their mind, their heart, their soul. It could change their life. It could save their life. So
Right.
know the
Right.
power and let
Right.
that motivate your plan.
Well, excellent. Let it motivate your plan. Yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
like
For
I
sure.
must get this done. That's why I've been working through the holidays, except for my family, Christmas and New Year's, Christmas Eve and stuff. I have been working and it's been awesome. And I love this time of year because everything is quiet. Most people are just out with their families on vacation, taking time off and just chilling. No, I've been writing like a monster. And it's been awesome. I love it because I'm so deeply motivated by what I do. And of course, I have a plan. I have
Mhm, mhm.
structure. I have strategy. I have, very importantly, so much discipline, so much commitment. And it takes that because I'm sitting here, I'm at my desk until all hours, and there's no temptation for me to get up and go watch a movie or just blow off time. Not
Hmm.
interested. But I have a
Hmm.
plan. Joni, do you have
Hmm.
any other tips for people to make a plan?
A couple things hit my head. First off, congratulations on your new book that you just finished.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that. That's a high 10. I
Thanks.
know when you are definitely in your work mode, you have your glasses on, which helps your eyes. So that is also a tip, I think, is to make sure you're healthy, make sure you're doing the right things for your body with the water and the food and the rest and the breaks, however you need to do that. Elizabeth is not 24/7 at her desk. She does take breaks. She does do things to keep herself healthy. Because if you don't take care of yourself, it's no good. You
Right.
have to do that in the process. I guess that's a big tip. The other thought, when you were talking about research writing, um, I know I'm sort of going back a little bit, Elizabeth, but I was thinking back. Part of that research writing for me, reference writing, was contact, and you taught me this, to get permission from the people that you're going to have in the book.
Hmm.
So that took for me hours of phone calls because I ended up being a little bit of an interview with them so that I could then quote them and put some of those quotes in the book. But that conversation with them, that communication with those people that are in the book was vital to me. And that's a part of the book planning. If you want certain people in the book or you want certain pictures in the book, then you need permissions and approvals. Will you talk about that part a little bit, please, Elizabeth?
That's a great point. So this could be a point of procrastination for people that makes them not sit down and write the book if they're afraid of people's reactions. So it's a common courtesy to let people know that you're referencing them in the book and telling a story, and you're not asking permission, but you are just letting them know, hey, I want to share this story about how we went on vacation together and XYZ happened or whatever. And so you ask them. I know cases where people's family members have said, I want to review whatever it is you wrote. And it's that author's decision to say yes or no. And I think it's a good idea to do so. Very importantly, if you're accusing someone of something criminal, like a family member who was abusive or something like that, and no charges were filed, then you should talk to a lawyer because you're incriminating them. And secondly,
Mm,
if charges were ever filed, like a police
mhm,
report or something, it's a public
mhm.
record, and therefore you can cite that. And so you're safe. But you also have to deal with people's anger and any potential retaliation. So there's just always be cognizant of that. But for most people, the stories aren't like that. They're more like just sharing, and it's just a common courtesy to. But then here's where the permissions are required. If you want to quote someone else's book, movie lines, song lyrics, documentaries, excerpts again from media sources such as the New York Times or the Washington Post, you have to obtain written permission, and this goes for photographs as well, written permission from the owner of the copyright of that book, movie, song, photo. And a lot of authors sometimes get upset about this and they don't understand it. Well, they're like, oh, it's already on the internet, or oh, it was already on the cover of a magazine. Why can't I use it? Because you don't own it. So the way you get permission is you write to the owner. That might be the magazine, the newspaper, the publisher of that particular book, and you write an email and you call and you try and get their permission. You might be completely ignored, which means the answer is no, you can't use it. That happened a few months ago with a book. Tried their websites, multiple people on their team,
Oh,
emailing, calling, all ignored. Zero,
wow.
which I think is obnoxious, but that happens. We had another author who was in a documentary that aired on TV, and we quoted from the documentary, and then we are like, now we have to get permission from the production company, the network. And so tried and tried for months and months and finally reached a lawyer there, emailed them, and they said, no, you can't use it. And so we had to rewrite the scene so it wasn't using anybody else's intellectual property. So it's really important. So what's the consequence if you ignore this law? Is you could get a letter from a lawyer saying cease and desist. You could get
Ooh,
fined, a money penalty, a financial penalty. So it's not ever worth it. And back in the day, people used to think you could just quote like the New York Times, but they too have fees that you have to pay if you want to publish an excerpt of an article. So just understanding that is really important. And another, for Mayor Archer's book, Let the Future Begin, we used photographs of him. We had to get written permission from the Clinton Library and the Obama library so that we could use those photos. So never take the risk. It's not worth it. And always ask a lawyer if you, and you can use a company like Legal Shield. There's Rocket Lawyer. There's places
yeah,
online where you don't have to pay hundreds of dollars to get legal guidance.
right, right. Yes, I used Rocket Lawyer somewhere in my journeys here. I don't remember where and what, but yes,
Uh-huh.
that was nice.
Yeah,
That
they
was
have
nice. Oh,
templates and lawyers available.
great. Oh, great summary, great information, Elizabeth, because we definitely don't want anybody getting into trouble. Oh my gosh,
No.
And it's a
So
psyche thing too, because there's a lot of energy and work that goes into that.
right. So that should be part of your plan that you in when you calculate your hours, you need to add additional hours for things like seeking permissions, if that's even relevant to your book, and also more hours to exploring your publishing options. Our book explores all five types, and it's very mysterious for a lot of people on how to publish the book, much
Oh,
less write it. So, once you get clarity on what the route is for you, first you have to
yes,
research it, and then you have to go for what you're seeking. And that
yes.
can take, phone calls, emails, video discovery calls with people to see if you like them and want to work with them, proposals, analyzing the pros and cons of each option. So there's a lot, but the bottom line is when you have a plan and a strong strategy, you are laying the foundation for success with your book. You just use the example, Joni, of losing weight. It's not just standing on the scale and seeing, okay, how much do I weigh today? You have to plan your meals. You have to shop for those meals. You have to integrate exercise into your day. You have to change your thinking. You have to have discipline at night when you want to watch TV and eat ice cream and potato chips. I'm not saying you, I'm saying in general.
Right, right.
That's a pitfall for a lot of people. They like to eat at night, snack and watch TV and be very, sedentary. Sedentary.
Sedentary.
Sedentary. Um, so
You
you need a
invented the new
plan.
word.
Thanks. It's so funny you can read words and then you say it and it's like, no, I said it wrong,
Right.
you know.
But
Anyway.
but good point. Good points.
hmm Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
anyway, you need a plan. A plan, especially that's going to stop you when you are tempted to blow off time when you've committed to writing it during that, say it's Saturday morning. Oh, I just want to go hang out. No, you committed to the writing, so do that. The
Exactly.
friends, coffee with
And if
friends.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like an example, like Saturday morning, if you say you're going to write every Saturday morning from 9 to 12, and then your friends call and say, hey, let's hang out, let's have coffee together. We haven't seen each other in a while. And you can be like, I can do that in a couple months, but right now I need to work.
Oh,
It's
good
up to you.
answer. Good answer. So you're not blowing them off completely. You're just
No,
saying we need to reschedule that for another time. I've
right,
got a big project going on. And I think
right.
that's my final point, Elizabeth, is for me, telling people that you're writing a book and you're going to find those that want to just say, well, okay. They're not very supportive. And then you're going to find others that are super supportive and encouraging and they're there for you, whether it's a quick text or a quick hello or whatever it may be, because they know you're busy and they respect that. They respect that. And but having those people there that you know are cheering you on, I think is a big part of the plan, you
Yeah.
know. And so for me, I developed my that very first business card on writing a book, you know, and that was my way of being accountable to people as well as to myself, that
Yeah.
I was going to do that. If I'm handing out business cards, guess what? I'm definitely going to do this book. Yes.
Yes. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, all you writers out there, I hope that we have provided you with some motivation. If you need help, I strongly recommend that you work with a book coach, whether it's me or any other book coach, somebody that you really like and vibe with that can guide you and you trust to create your
Yes.
plan. And if you'd like to visit twosisterswriting.com, you can learn about our book coaching services, which are why Joanie became a published author because she followed the instructions so well, she wrote her book in 5 months instead of 6. And so that really works. You can also join writing organizations like Romance Writers of America and find people to have like a writing critique group. And it just really motivates you to have sort of a team cheering you on and it gives you accountability. And there's lots of ways to go about doing it. So figure out what works best for your personality. And most importantly, just write down a plan today. In your own words, how can I make this happen? Yes, start with some
Yes.
colorful sticky notes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm. Yeah.
Elizabeth, one more thing before we hang up and move on for the rest of the day for everybody. You mentioned at the very beginning that you and Catherine are creating this book on how to write a book. Is it up for pre-sale? When will it be available? And everybody hang on to your horses because I think I want this book and I bet you do too.
Thanks for that. It's not available yet, but it will be within the coming weeks available for pre-sale, pre-order, and then it will be published in February of 2026 in celebration of our 10-year anniversary. And we will have it at the Brookings Writing Conference where I'm going to do a 6-hour workshop on how to write a book.
Yep,
So
February 13th, if anybody's waiting for a date on that one.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes.
So, Joni,
Perfect.
thank you as always. You're such an
Thank you.
inspiration. We're so proud of you here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. And I know that the
Thank you.
year holds many more amazing, amazing experiences for you and your books and all the people that you touch.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I felt that one. Oh, that was a big heart one there, right there. Thank you
Yay.
for that big hug. Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And all you writers out there, the same for you. Now's the time. It's a new year. Harness that energy, that resolve to finally do it. Time is ticking. It's never too late until it is. So take action today. Plan your book. We're here to help. Meanwhile, we wish you happy reading and happy writing. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for all you do and who you are, Elizabeth. Big hugs to everyone.